If you want to start trading, or if you've been trading for a couple months to a couple years and it seems like trading just isn't for you, before you decide to either start or quit trading, I want to show you with real proof the complete journey of a profitable trader over a 4-year span to show you the psychology behind how to become a profitable trader. Now, I'm going to be looking down to the right here. I have my laptop with me, and the reason I'm looking down here is because I have pictures of exactly what I want to talk about. Now, this video is completely different from the videos that I usually make, but I believe this video will have so much value if you watch the full thing. And what I want to go through in this video is a student of mine. This person went through everything you're probably going through as a trader, and I want to highlight exactly the emotions he went through, what he did right, what he did wrong, and overall go through his complete journey to show you guys what type of psychology you need to be a profitable trader. Let's get into it. So as we can see, Bully Options just joined the Discord room. This was January 11th, 2023. He joined the room. He saw me probably on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter. He probably liked my content, and therefore he joined my room because he wanted to be taught by me. Cool. Now, within the room, he joins, "Hi all, just joined. Anywhere I should start to soak all this information in." Now, most traders, they'll join these Discord rooms, and what they'll do is they want to get as much information as fast as possible because they're looking at that short-term horizon. They don't care about the long term. They're just trying to soak everything in all at once and then become profitable as fast as possible. Now, for me, one of the main things that I've learned is it's very, very important to, of course, soak in all the information you can, but do it at a controlled pace. Because the faster you do it, you end up actually not learning anything because there's no retention. So retention is the most important part. Therefore, for me, and if you follow me on Instagram and you've seen my stories, I talk about this a lot as well. But the best way to learn over a long period of time is to watch the content, then read about the content. So if there's anything you're confused about, go read about it, and then finally rewrite it in your own words. This will actually help you retain all the information that you've learned because you've most likely watched thousands or hundreds of YouTube videos, and most of the time you think it's valuable information, but you'll probably forget it within a couple months. And therefore, to actually retain that information, you need to do those 3 steps. So let's keep going on with his journey. Now, within the same day, he messaged me and said, "I paid for the membership by month. I've seen enough and would like to pay in full to have access to all the content. The break and retest is fire." He's currently talking about the break and retest strategy. You guys know that I trade that. And I go, "That's awesome. I'm glad you found content. If you want to buy the lifetime, right, blah, 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 I'll refund your monthly, whatever." Right? And he's like, "Sounds good. I'll take care of that tomorrow. I'm in a few Discords, and just today, watching all your workshops and getting caught up makes me feel like I have an edge that I'm more confident in than what I had. Thanks, man. I've paid way more for Furus." And I'm like, "Appreciate that. The point of this room is to get rid of the fluff and actually teach what most won't." Now, this is the first day. And what I want you guys to notice is the level of excitement, right? Most traders, they'll come into these Discord rooms or whatever, and they'll be very, very, very excited to join because the information, right? They're really curious about the information within these rooms, which is completely fine. Now, because of this, most of the time, most of these rooms will leave you disappointed. However, within my Discord, he found some value, and I try to keep it as simple as possible for most people to understand. So when I actually do live trade, they see my thought process because they already understand the simple strategy that I'm trading. And so with this being said, talking about live trading, the very next day on the 12th, he messages in the chat and says, "Sitting on my hands, just watching you all hit bangers. This is good though. Will give me time to backtest, break, and retest." Now, this is the next day. He joined on the 11th, and on the 12th, he saw that I was live trading on Voice. This was a year ago, so I don't remember exactly what I traded, but I was on Voice and I probably took a good trade. So for him, because he didn't take that trade and he was just still learning, he feels a little bit of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And this is what often happens to new traders when they have a fear of missing out. And this is because if they see other people on social media or just in general take a good trade, they want to take that good trade too, right? He paid for this room, so he wants to have a good trade, right? Now, for him, this is creating FOMO, and therefore what he does is instead of going out and having a real trade, he takes the next day an Amazon trade as a paper trade, right? So we can see on the 13th, took Amazon break and retest $95.50 as a paper trade, calls up 40%. right? And this was to, once again, the next day to get rid of some FOMO, right? Because clearly he was experiencing some FOMO and he wanted to actually start trading the break and retest because he had all this information he just learned so quickly and he wanted to apply it in the real markets. Now, he didn't want to use real money because he wasn't confident enough, but to get rid of the FOMO and to make him feel like he actually understood the concept, he starts taking a paper trade on Amazon, which is fine. Now, for me personally, I don't recommend paper trading. I recommend always having a little bit of size within your trades to actually learn the psychology behind the trades, because technical analysis isn't as hard as the psychology, but this is fine for him to build up some confidence and conviction if he really just does not want to trade with real money. Now, within the same day, that Amazon trade he took had another pop and he was up 96% within 1 day. Now, for him, this is really, really good, right? Because as a new trader, what he's thinking is, wow, I just took that trade with the break and retest. I'm up 96% on the first trade, even though it was paper, right? This is a really, really good strategy. And he says this, he goes, thanks, loving this break and retest, pretty simple and easy to execute in real time. And so he's seeing in real time that the strategy works, right? He's seeing me trade live and therefore it's giving him even more confidence. Plus the trade that he took also worked. So the next day, what does he do? He goes on a real account and trades Amazon once again. Now with lower size, of course. However, he makes about 7% on his account and he made $28 on Amazon. Now, from the time he joined the room to now, it's been a couple days. He's seen all the workshops. He's seen the live trading. He's paper traded, and now he's finally moving over to a real account. Now, on this real account, he finally took a trade, $28, and the same day, he's still talking about how the break and retest is fire, right? His confidence now is super, super high. As a new trader, he has a lot of confidence, and this is that initial euphoria you've probably heard traders say. And this is something I feel like most traders usually have, and it's when they first start trading, the reason that gets them hooked onto trading is these initial first wins. This builds up your confidence, and this is what makes it seem like trading for you is a viable option for the foreseeable future. Now, as we can see, a couple days after, once again, 17% on his real account, and he made $328 on SPY. Now we can see that he's sizing up a little bit, and we can see that he's seeing some consistency within the first couple days of joining the room. Now, on January 24th, 2023, he says, I was up a lot more, but overtraded like a dummy and gave most of it back. So he's still green on the day, 0.76%. However, he now sees one problem. He overtrades. And like a majority of new traders, when you first come into the market and you have that feeling of confidence and euphoria, the number one thing that I see students doing is overtrading. It's just overtrading or oversizing. They'll try to make a lot of money really quickly, and because they learned this strategy that works in real time, they see me trading it, they see other students trading it, they believe that they can overtrade with this strategy. What they don't understand is, for me personally, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I only take 1 to 3 trades max on the day. I haven't taken more than 3 day trades in years, right? Of course, sometimes I'm entering or exiting my swing positions, but for day trading wise, I only max take 3 trades. And for him to say he's overtrading, this is a major red flag that he's identified in real time. But I'm glad that he did identify this. As a new trader, it's hard to identify these things, but within the workshops, we talked about this, and this is why he's identified it. So even though he was green on the day, I respond to him and say, hey man, take a day off if needed. After evaluating your trades today and seeing exactly what you did wrong, it happens to everyone. Don't let your emotions cloud you. This is where the best lessons occur. So I'm trying to explain to him, though he's green on the day, it's fine. However, this is a very, very crucial lesson. Overtrading is something that we can't do, because as a trader, we already have a very low edge in the markets to actually make money. And therefore, if we break rules within our system, that edge only diminishes. I tried to explain to him, evaluate your trades and take a day off. Don't come into tomorrow and overtrade again, because what that will do is give you a very big red day. I've been there before, and I didn't want him to make the same mistake. So on the 26th, he didn't trade, but on the 27th, he comes back. Once again, another P&L, right? 6% on the day. His confidence is back, his conviction is back, and he's starting to see this consistency within his trading in a very short period of time. Now, I want to mention, trading is a craft. To become profitable, it will take you years. That is the truth. Okay, the truth is it will take you years to become profitable. It won't take you months. I promise it will not take you months. It will take you years, right? And therefore, for him to see consistency so quick, right, this is something we need to know, because this is what's called euphoria, and we talked about this. So on the 27th, he messages, crazy day, just calculated it. I'm up 15% since joining the Discord. Hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you, Tony. Now, this is a message, of course, as someone that's teaching him, I love to hear. However, in the back of my head, I also understood, like, hey, he's looking at it wrong. The purpose of the room is not to make you an alert bot, and he's not an alert bot, but it's to give you education to make you self-sufficient as a trader so you can trade by yourself. Now, for him to be up 15%, that's awesome. But this is exactly, and I want to pop up this chart right here, that euphoria phase that I keep talking about. Now, after this euphoria phase, what happens on the chart? Well, I'll show you in a bit. Let's keep going through his journey. And as we can see, right, this euphoria phase is hitting at an all-time high. On February 9th, he makes 2.8% on Amazon. On February 10th, 3.87%, 9% on Amazon, and both Apple. Now, on the 10th at 12:10 p.m., he messages, now officially done. This last one was a 2-minute trade, and he was basically talking about an Amazon trade, and he made 11.28%. So, based off what he said himself, he should be done trading. That is a rule he had. I'm done trading. This last one was a 2-minute trade, and he made 11% on the day on his portfolio. That is really, really good. However, at 2:32 p.m., he messages back and he says, okay, so I took one more only because of Amazon broke market structure at bottom. Profit factor was 19 today, and he made 19.25%. That's awesome. He made more money. His percentage went up on his portfolio. However, that's not good. Why? It's because after he made it known that he's done for the day, and like I talked about, our rules and our system help create our edge, and if we don't follow those, our edge diminishes in the markets. Well, he didn't follow his rule, right? The trade that he took the second time, though it may be high probability, he doesn't actually know if that trade's going to work out. No one as a trader actually knows if the trade's going to work out. All we know is we have low probability and high probability trades. And for us, our job is just to be present when those opportunities show up, to enter the trades and then let the probabilities work. So for him to take this last trade after saying he's done for the day, well, he broke his own rule. And this is once again another red flag. He's not actually following any of the rules he has because he's making so much money. He's so enticed to make more money that he doesn't care, right? Because what's not broken, why fix it? If he's making a lot of money, who cares? This is the wrong way to think as a trader if you want any type of long-term growth. And we're going to see this more as we go through his journey. Now, on the 14th, another member in the room says, great trade, Tony. Awesome to watch you do it live. Bully option response. It's funny because I only listen to Tony hear how calm he is. I only take my own trades. His temperament shows me how we need to keep this as a probability game and keep the emotions out of it. So on this specific day, I actually remember I took Tesla and it was a really, really good trade. I had a 5-figure P&L. I did it live in front of the students as well. And it was a big day. However, on voice, right, most of the time whenever I'm trading, you won't hear any emotions out of me. I try to keep my emotions out of it until I'm done trading. Until I close my broker, I honestly sound like a robot. And the reason that is because I don't like to get too happy or too sad after either winning or losing a trade, because at the end of the day, it is all probabilities and I just have to place myself in front of those opportunities. And Bully understands this concept. He understands that the reason I'm so calm, and he said it himself, is because trading is all probabilities and I'm trying to keep the emotions out of it. And he sees that with me, and this is something that he's trying to also adapt. But like we seen in the last screenshot, it's a little bit harder for him because he did break his rules a couple days ago. Now, your green streak can only last so long if you really don't have a defined edge or defined rules. And as we can see on the 16th for Bully options, terrible day, sized too much and overtraded. And he was down 7.65% on his account. This is a great example. No matter what type of green streak you're on, if you're winning trades, but if you're not following your rules, it will catch up to you. And on the 16th, it did with Bully options. Now, within the room, however, on live voice on the 16th, I did take a Tesla trade, and it was a really, really good trade. And right below it, we can see Tony Montana ended up hopping back on after setting an alert on Tesla. It was dropping close to an uptrend line, making my first 10K trading day ever. Thank you so much, Tony. And this was a different member in the room that took a similar trade to me. Now, within the actual room, everyone else, it seemed like at the time for Bully options and his perspective that they made money, because on live voice, I caught a very good trade. And for him, it seems like he was the only person that was red today, and he sized up, right? So not only is he red, but he's red on a much more higher size than he usually is green. So when I saw this message, I wanted to private message him because I know exactly how he's feeling. I've been in his shoes where it seems like everyone around you is making money, but you're not. And so I private message him and I say, thought we promised you weren't going to size up. I'm messaging you privately to hold you accountable. And Bully Option responds, he says, yeah, I know, I appreciate it. See all the big numbers people are throwing around and get lost. Back to one contract until I double where I'm at. Thanks for reaching out. Now, this was on February 16th. I want to mention that as well. And I respond and say, like I said before, it's completely fine if you end your day red, taking trades in your system with consistent size. What's not fine is breaking rules. Trading is all discipline. I know others make money and they're big numbers. I've been in your shoes. But the thing is, you'll never get there if you don't stop sizing up before you see consistency. I'm not being harsh, but I want you to succeed, and this is the truth. And he responds, oh, I know, you're right, 100%. I don't see any of it as harsh, it's the truth, and it's why I failed up to this point. Only silver lining is, a day like today would normally be a 50% loss. Just need to keep dialing back the emotions. Thanks, man, I appreciate it more than you know. And the reason I message him privately is because when I first started trading and people would message me, or if my mentors would sit me down and talk to me, I felt much more accountable than if someone just sent me a mass message. And therefore, I think this really resonated with him. And once again, this was February 16th, 2023 that I messaged him. The next day on the 17th, Bully Options has a 0.56% day. So we can see that he sized down all the way. Like he said, one contract only. And he says, small gain, but what's important to me is that I stuck to all my rules. Trade size was perfect, execution was perfect, had 2 losers and 1 winner. If you keep your losers small, you don't have to have a large winning percentage. This is something that I teach all the time, right? And it's about your risk to reward and understanding if you have a high R multiple, you don't need to win as many trades as most of you think. Now for him, I want to mention the second he sized down and stopped thinking about the money, look, he literally says himself, the trade size was perfect and his executions were perfect, both for the losers and the winners, because the losers, he cut them fast, and the winners, he let them actually run. Now, with this being said, he sized down. I'm happy for him, but the one thing is he did take 3 trades. 3 trades is the max I personally like to trade myself, and so he's still almost on the verge of over trading. However, on this day, he didn't overtrade. But as we've seen, he is known to overtrade before. And a couple days later, we can see Deleted User. Now, Deleted User was another student in the room. He was trading for a couple years and he was already seeing profitability. He was a profitable trader. And so he was explaining to the room how he only took 1 trade the whole week because there really wasn't too many setups presenting themselves. And so Bully Options' question was, how long did it take you to get to this kind of patience? Do you shut down all your charts after a certain period of time if nothing presents itself? So he responds and says, this took me over 1.5 years to build that no overtrading habit. If nothing shows, yes, I shut it all down and go to the gym. I don't linger around the house after shutting it down because there are times in the past I looked at charts on the phone and got back on PC, traded and lost. Happened too many times, more than I could count. So for me personally, what works best nowadays is I just go to the gym so I cannot trade. This includes CPI and FOMC days as well, which honestly tend to bring more trouble than rewards. Bully Option responds, good idea. Problem with me is I work full time from the same computer. Now, the Deleted User said exactly what I said in one of the workshops as well up to this point, and he's exactly right. On days that you have news events coming up, there's most likely going to be sideways action in the beginning of the day, and therefore you don't want to trade that. But we can see one of the problems with Bully Options is he works full time from his computer, and this could be you watching as well. You got into trading because you think you can make some extra money on the side because you already work from home and you're at your computer. But in reality, if you don't have the discipline to shut down your broker or shut down the charts after you're done trading for a certain period of time, then you're only going to overtrade and lose money. So it's very important for you that's watching this video, stop overtrading and take this advice. Now, a couple days later, someone else in the room is struggling because they just can't wrap their head around sizing. Bully Option responds, it will come, take it slow. I'm only trading 1 contract, focusing on perfecting my executions for every trade. whether it's a win or loss. It's always a win if you followed your system. If you have any questions, just ask. Everyone here is super helpful. Watch every workshop and try to understand and replicate them. You guys saw I private messaged him and these are words that I told him. So he's just regurgitating exactly what I said. And what this shows is this time it actually stuck in his mind because I private messaged him. Those words did have an impact on his trading, which is a good sign. Now, as we continue, we can see someone else in the room showed their trades and they had a pretty decent day. They had about 10 contracts and they were showing their entries and exits, only having a 1K position, but they had a pretty decent day on that 1K position. And Bully Option says, you're about 10K my size. I lost a lot last year and won't add more to my account until I'm consistent for a month. So one thing you can see for him is he really wants to start perfecting his executions. He understands that perfecting his executions is his #1 priority right now. Sizing will come after. And this is something that is very good. And he's finally going down the right path. The next day, he makes 1.84%, still on small size, and he only took one trade. Now, I didn't actually screenshot the other P&Ls he sent, but up to this point, he sent multiple P&L days, which were with small size, but he's seeing a little bit more consistency. Now, one person in the room asked Bully why he was sizing down, and he was talking about how he was losing too much money in the beginning. And so the person asked, have you ever lost 5 figures in one day? And Bully responds, no, but up to this point, he's lost $30,000. Now, it's important to mention that Bully, before joining the room, has been trading by himself for a year to 2 years. So before joining the room, he had a little bit of prior experience, but that's more gambling and really not learning the right system. But in that period, he's lost about $30,000 in the previous 2 years. And that's how much he's down overall on his whole trading performance. And this is a number I want you to keep in the back of your mind until the end of the video. And once again, on the 1st of March, we see that consistency 3.44% on the account, one and done. And we can see on the 3rd of March as well, 4.95%. And he was in SPY. SPY was ripping at the time, up 50% on a SPY call. And you can see that he's a little bit more excited about trading again, right? I'm done, kill it today. Right? Exclamation marks, right? He's having a good day. Now, because you start having good days as a trader, what usually ends up happening? Well, in my personal experience, what I've noticed starts happening is you start feeling overconfident. And because of this, you start feeling cocky. You think you've figured out the market, and therefore you want to start sizing up again because you finally figured out the market. That's your thought process as a new trader. But in reality, that's just not true. So we can see Bully Options 13% on his account on the 7th of March. And this is a bigger day with a little bit bigger size, right? So he's taken a little bit bigger size and he had a bigger day because of all this consistency he's seeing. He's really, really happy. And within the Discord, someone was congratulating him on his consistent days. And he messages and says on the 7th of March, 2023, Tony called me a dumbass. And since that day, I figured out what worked for me. Call me a dumbass weekly, please, right? So because of that one message that I sent him, he's just lowered his size and he was starting to see consistency. And because of that consistency and really worrying about his executions over the profits he's going to make, he's seeing much more better results. And we can see on the surface, he's winning a lot, right? And we can see on the surface, he's winning a lot. Left some profits on the table, didn't want to get greedy this time, 6.7% on the day. And what happens when you start seeing this consistency over a period of time is now that loss that you previously had, you want to start making it back. Bully Options, well, no different. Right here, we can see on March 18th, everything is now in TradeZilla, time to slowly chip away at this. So he put it into a journaling platform and he's down $27,761.28. This is over 645 trades. This is over years, right? This is much before he joined the room, and he's down about $27,000. And what does he want to do? He wants to start chipping away at his losses. So you can see that instead of worrying about his executions like he was before, he's slowly pivoting back into worrying about profits. And that's never usually a good sign for a trader, because when you start worrying about profits, you start making these small mistakes that ultimately lead to a bigger loss. But the reason Bully Options is now starting to feel confident and thinks he can make back that loss is because we can see in this message right here on the 27th of March, exactly 11:11 a.m. We all know it's true. This is my first profitable month after 3 years of trading. So like I said, Bully was trading a little bit before he joined the room. However, in March of 2023, it was his first profitable month after 3 years of trading. And the reason this was because of a simple thing I said. Stop sizing up, stop over trading, and worry about your system and your rules. not the profits. And up to this point, that's what he's been doing, and that's why he's seeing this consistency. Of course, he's really happy because he's had his first profitable month, and so he messages in the room. I've taken many mentorships, and there's one key thing they all lack: the psychology and mentality that it takes to be a consistent and profitable trader. This Discord teaches that. Sure, Tony teaches the break and retest, but a trader can be profitable with different strategies if their head's in the right place. The Discord teaches you how to work towards the mindset of nearly perfecting execution. When you can ignore your reptilian impulses to overtrade and ignore FOMO, I joined midway through January. These screenshots should be a testament to my progression because of Tony's membership. So we can see in January, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red days. In February, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red days. And in March, he only had 4 red days on lower size. And that's why he's seeing this consistency. That's why he's seeing that he's finally turning the path to a profitable trader. But one thing that is keeping him from finally breaking that barrier is his own psychology. And you can see it slowly in his messages on how he's talking about making his losses back. So on the 28th, Bully messages in the room and he says, $50 from doubling my account in March. Let's go. So not only has this been his first profitable month, but he's almost doubled his account within 1 month as well. Now, he's joking and says, that's it, I'm full porting on a small cap to triple it. Now, of course, he's obviously joking here, but every joke has a little bit of truth behind it. This is something you've probably heard before, and this seems to be the case with Bully as well. Even though he knows he shouldn't size up, he wants to size up because he wants to double that account. He wants to make money. He's seeing consistency. He's so confident now, and he wants to make more money and win back his losses. And so what happens when you do that? Well, on the 29th, Bully Option says, took a loss today, went against the trend, and could have been green, but got greedy, should have scalped, gone against the trend, and should have entered on demand and rode it up. And he's down 4.65% March 29th. So the month's about to end. He's trying to double that account. He's not thinking about the executions as much, but he's thinking much more about the profits and how he can double his account and how happy he would be if he did double that. And so all he's thinking about now is, yeah, he has good executions, but he needs to make that profit. So after this day, for a couple days, we don't hear anything from Bully, but then on April 11th, he messages back in the room and says, done for the day. He made about 11.54% on the day, and someone else in the room says, nice, and he says, thanks. Increased my sizing yesterday and got burnt, but it's part of the process, and it was an amount I'm willing to lose on that size. Today, I made it all back and then some. The grind continues. Now, what did I say? The reason he was seeing consistency and profitability for the month of March, and he almost doubled that account, was because he had low size, did not care about the P&L, knew trading was probabilities, and he was only worried about perfecting his system and his executions and following his rules. However, in April, because March was such a good month, he now is starting to size back up aggressively, and he even himself says he got burnt in the process, but it's a part of the game. Sizing up is a part of the game. That is something you have to learn, but sizing up aggressively is not part of the game. You need to size up very, very slowly to keep your psychology in check. And so me personally, I don't agree with sizing up too aggressively, because what happens is you're going to blow your account. Because yes, you've seen consistency, but overconfidence, oversizing, and over trading all leads to one thing, and that's a blown account. And therefore, I always recommend size up slowly. Do not focus on the profits. Please, if you don't focus on the profits, you will not see a blown account because you're always perfecting your executions. So 2 days after Bully Options has sent that last message, about 11% on his account, and we know in March he doubled his account and he also had his first profitable month, he messages in the room and he says, I'm done trading for a while, maybe ever. Blew my account, and to be honest, don't even want to think about loading it up again. After 3 years, this seems like more of a fool's errand for me. I wish you all luck and thanks for the help along the way. As we can see, a lot of people in the room are saying it's sad to hear you were doing so well, right? Because they were all seeing his progression. This was a small Discord, and therefore everyone was like family in this room. And so people were trying to give him some motivation. And I also messaged him and said, this is the reality. I've been there as well. I literally have been to a point where I had a panic attack for 2 weeks straight when I was learning. It's just what the learning comes with. However, I think that these are the defining moments for the future. I think you should take some time off, 1 month, 2 months, even more. However, it's mostly your psychology holding you back. I see you get the setups. Breaks are crucial long-term. I hope you continue in the future, but for now, I wish you the best on your break. So this is the reality, right? You see that consistency. From the beginning, about 4 months ago, when he joined the room, you saw the enthusiasm. You saw the initial euphoria. You saw the loss. You saw when he was starting to get back into what is called the break-even stage. The break-even stage basically is where you have a really good month, and then the next month you'll have a bad month. Then you'll have a good month, then you'll have a bad month. And if you can break out of that, you will become profitable. But most people simply cannot break out of that break-even point, and they just quit trading. And this is really your break or make moment. And for Bully, this is exactly what I'm telling him. April of 2023, I literally told him, take some time off, go rest, go spend time with your family, do whatever you want. Don't think about trading. Don't even open up a chart for months. But after you have that rest and you can recalibrate your mind, come back and start learning again. Because I do see potential within his trading. And so Bully Options left the Discord that day. And after 5 months, I see a notification and it says Bully Options is here. And this was September 10th, 2023. So he took a 5-month break from trading and now he's finally back. And the first message he sends is, okay, I'm so happy to be back. Thanks, Tony. And one of the other people in the room at the time were saying he didn't know that Bully actually left the room. He says, I knew he ended up quitting after his loss, but I didn't know he ended up leaving the room. And Bully Option explains, left trying to find the holy grail. Newsflash, the problem was me. This is something I feel like a lot of you can relate to. You guys have watched my strategy videos. You guys have probably watched other videos for strategies. You've probably watched different indicator videos. You've probably watched different ICT concepts, everything, right? Trying to learn. But at the end of the day, there's no holy grail. And for 90% of you, the problem is you. And this is something Bully Options has finally learned after 5 months, that the problem was him and his own psychology. And so let's keep going through this. On October 5th, 2023. So it's been about 10 months since Bully Options first joined this room back in January of 2023. He finally passed a $300,000 prop firm. And people are congratulating him. He's like, thank you. Literally the hardest thing I've ever done because of breaking degenerate habits. Someone else says congratulations. And they ask, how long did it take you to come to this level? And Bully Option responds, honestly, years. But just because I let my ego destroy me over and over. Technical analysis is easy. Controlling yourself and being okay with being wrong is way harder. And this is something that I say in almost every psychology video that I've made. You can learn technical analysis in a couple months and be really good at charting. Within 3 to 6 months, you'll be a master charter. However, after that, it really comes down to building a system, building a defined set of rules, creating an edge in the markets, and then finally refining your psychology. And that all will take years. And this is something Bully Options has learned over a very long period of time. So with that being said, where is Bully Options today? It's currently February 2024. It's been more than 1 year since he joined the initial room. And before then, he was trading by himself for a couple years as well. Well, I decided to reach out to Bully and private message him. And I asked him, how would you feel about your trading performance compared to about a year ago? Bully Options messages back, just more consistent, as in my losses are way smaller and I average down way less, still have off days, but around 10% of the time. We can see his TradeZilla as well. And in the last month, he's made $17,350.64. And as we remember, he was down $30,000 when he was learning. In the learning phase, he was down $30,000 and he quit trading because he was like, you know what, this is the end of it. I can't come back from this. And now, within 1 month, he's made $17,000. And one thing I want you guys to resonate with, you guys saw how many times he tried to size up and just make as much money as possible. and he was overconfident, and then he became underconfident, and then he became overconfident again. There's a never-ending cycle with traders. You'll always be going through a cycle emotionally, and therefore you need to understand the more you can delay instant gratification, which means sizing up or having a dopamine rush because you have increased profits, the more faster you will become a profitable trader. And this is something that I was trying to explain for Bully for almost a year. And we can see that this has finally worked for him, and he's made $17,000 in 1 month. Now, one of the main things I asked Bully Options is nice, good work. And out of 10, if last year when you stopped trading, you were a 2, where would you rank your trading today after all the lessons you had? And Bully Options says probably around an 8, but I don't think there's such a thing as a 10, and there will always be things to study and improve on. And this is something I agree with. I wouldn't say I'm a 10 out of 10 trader as well. I make mistakes, I'm human. And therefore this answer within itself told me that Bully is actually seeing consistency in his trading, because if he said he was a 10, he would have that overconfidence, right? And we saw that he had this overconfidence about a year ago. But now he's actually grounded, he's humble in what he's saying, and he understands that the market will humble him if he sees that overconfidence, and that's exactly what I wanted. Now, the final question and the most important question for the people that watch this video all the way through, this is for you. I asked, what do you think is the most important thing you've learned after leaving the Discord, then coming back? You left to find the Holy Grail. What did you end up finding out? And Bully Option responds, there is no holy grail. Even the simplest of strategies can work with the right psychology and risk management. Now, this was a full case study of a student over a full year. You saw exactly how his thought process changed, what he was thinking, how his account was looking over that whole period of time. I hope you guys see how the things that I preach really do work in real time. Last week, I literally made a full video on risk management. I said it's one of the most important concepts for you to learn, and I wasn't lying. Understand those concepts, you can be a self-sufficient trader even with the simplest strategies. You don't need to have an overcomplicated strategy, and that's something that I try to preach. So with that being said, I hope this video brought you some value and you learned something going through a whole year's journey of a trader. If this video helped you, make sure to hit the like button. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter for more education and behind the scenes. And I'll see you guys next week with a brand new video.